Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited. Good evening, good afternoon. Here we have Sinead Graham. Sinead, how are you doing all the way from Ireland, dialing in?
I'm great. Thank you very much. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're so pleased that you agreed to be on one of our hot seats chats. And really, for those of you who haven't watched any of these interviews before, really, CNET has volunteered to be one of the five people to get some coaching from us. She has actually had incredible success in her company. She's created, almost a six-figure income and is now looking to improve her business. And she'll be telling us more specifics. And really, in the next half an hour or so, what we're aiming to do is to uncover some of the, perhaps some of the blocks along the way that we can help CNET grow faster and go faster for her girls, right?
That's right. And as we always say, when you're watching our webinars or you're watching this, the first thing that we always do, make sure that your phone is not turned off, but put it in silent, right? We don't want to miss any business calls that may come in. And the second thing is always be watching and reading between the lines, because it's not about what Sina is going to say. It's about how she says she's a very successful entrepreneur and network marketer already that wants to get to the next level. So we always suggest to people is watch and read what she says and how she says what she says, right? Make sense what I'm saying?
And at the same time, be listening to us. We are not necessarily coaching CNET here, but be listening and thinking, how can I apply some of what they're coaching CNET to my business and to my success? So with that introduction, CNET, welcome again. We're excited to have you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Would you mind sharing a little bit about where you're at in your business? So could you tell us how long you've been in this particular network marketing company, how many years experience, how many people on your team, what's the kind of average income that you're at, and what is your next goal and how much income you want to have?
Okay, so the network marketing company I'm involved in I'm in it 5 years now, and I've achieved everything in the marketing plan that there is to offer. My average income from the company is roughly about between 5 and 6 thousand euro a month, and I work it part time in that I work it around my two girls. So I work while they're in school and then in the evening time. I've got a great business, and I've got some great leaders in my team. And I think myself, one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you guys was because for the last 2 years, I have plateaued in my business. So where I am now, while it sounds great in where I want to go, it's quite a bit off just yet. So I want to be earning 30,000 euro a month from my business.
Yeah.
I want to be earning in our business. We get a profit of the company's turnover, so we call it chairman's bonus. And I want to be earning a check for 200,000. For the last 4 years, I have achieved chairman's bonus in total to an extra 22,000, and I'll get another check when we are away in April, probably for another 14 or 15,000. So I'm really grateful. Oh my God, it's just incredible.
Fantastic.
And my husband does work with me. He works full time, so I'm the driving force in it. So while I appreciate and I'm really grateful for all that I've achieved, and the best thing is that it's by helping other people do the same. And that's really what I want more than anything, is to be able to find more people to help them succeed, and to be a part of that success for me would be so more rewarding. While I need the money, it's way more than the money. It's about the person I want to become. I feel that I can be that I'm not yet, in order to achieve that. And that's my driver.
So your why is, obviously you have a very important why. You have two young girls and you have a beautiful family. I'm sure that's an important reason why you're doing this, but you've kind of outgrown that. And I think for those of you watching, you need to pay really close attention. CNET is kind of outgrown triple the average income that I would say you've tripled the income of an average Irish professional, I would say, but in your network marketing business, or quadrupled. And so you've covered your needs. So you're no longer needing money to survive. Am I right? You're full time, you're prospering, your business is. And now she's sharing a bigger reason. She's going to go to 20, 30, 40,000 euros per month. And that's really good. So, the fact that you're sharing this really deep reason why. And so what is it that is really important to you when you impact people? This may be important later when we coach you how to get there. Why do you want to impact people? What's your core belief or your core strength that you're trying to transmit to them?
I think I truly believe everybody has the resources inside them to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve, and they just need help sometimes accessing those and to access those resources. I truly believe that I've always, since a little girl, believed that there had to be another way, that there's a better way, and hence why. I mean, I come from a corporate background, but I always felt like a round peg in a square hole, and so I came into network marketing, even though I carried a lot of judgment myself around network marketing, which I definitely projected out there, and I sometimes still struggle with it, to be very honest, which is slightly ironic. But for me, to be part of something is really important to me. And to see other people succeed. I want now more than anything to serve others greatly. I want to watch other people walk across the stage. I want to step back and just see that happen. I really don't want it to be about me anymore. And I think I'm struggling to make that shift. While I can say it and I know it, I think, I don't know, maybe there's something I find still blocking me at the moment to get to that next level.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's really very helpful. And so, while you are, of course, you're wanting to help others, it's very important for not just for seeing it, but here to understand that sometimes we really have to focus very selfishly on ourselves to get through those next few ranks. And actually that brings into our circle of influence and our team more people that we can actually help. So let's get into some challenges where we can really, what do you think is the number one reason you're stagnating? You've been obviously very successful, one of the top income earners in your country, in your company. What do you think is the number one reason that is blocking you right now?
Okay, the number one, I know only too well what it is. It's an inconsistency with my activities, and it's inconsistency with the right activities, which basically is prospecting.
Okay, so let's get into that. So why do you think you're not every day, for example, sharing the opportunity with at least 2, 3, 5 people? What is the core belief that is stopping you from there?
The core belief that's stopping me from it. Honestly, I think it comes back to the not being enough, not being good enough to do it, being afraid. Now, I'm being very honest here. So, just coming back to the not being good enough, or maybe being judged, or I think in there I'm also a little bit afraid of success.
Yeah, that's very profound. And for those of you who don't know, Sina is actually a trained psychologist. So she's like, her answer is like a level up. She doesn't just tell us what the core belief may be. She goes right to the core of herself. So I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, when we don't have the belief in ourselves, it projects outward. But even so, I think we can grow that belief. So I think it's a question of looking how can you put in some framework into your life, some actual systems, some actual techniques, some actual things that you can put some strategies, so that while you're growing that belief, you can actually be progressing. So let's say that I was to say to you, okay, here is a way how you can speak to 3 to 5 people each and every single day. It is really about, do you have actually right now a process that you go through? Are you comfortable with what you're doing, how you're sourcing people, what you're telling them, what tool they're watching? Is that process all clear and comfortable for you? Do you like it?
It's okay. I can't really rate it terribly well. A lot of what I do in my business, I made up. I didn't have a lot of guidance in my business, so I just kind of made it up as I went along. I'm picking it from listening to Eric Worre and you guys and different people like that. And so I always question, is this the most effective way? I don't think it's very streamlined. I think it could be a lot more effective. So I'm answering that with a yes and a no.
Yeah. So here's the real important thing, and now we're getting into really, this is no longer just a webinar of 2 people talking or interviewing you. It's really just exactly what we would say to our team. Whatever you're doing has got you to 6,000 euros per month. That means that if you do more of that, it's going to get you to 12 and to 18 and to 24 and so on. So my personal advice is most probably, and we can get into some strategic things, but most probably you're doing everything right. So the key is to find a way how to trick your mind into doing more of it in a shorter period of time. So, the only thing that's going to make a difference is to get around to the consistency of doing everything you're doing right now. Of course, probably you could do some things better, and we can get into some of the kind of effective, strategies, because perhaps, so let's get into that just really quickly, because I think at your level, this is really important that you're using time in the right way. When you call somebody, you have a relationship with them already. What do they have to do? How do you offer the opportunity or the product? Do they go and see a website? Do they see a video? What do you do?
Okay, so I will always go for the option, if I can meet them personally, I will do that. So I don't even send them anything. I'll try and see them if it's logistically possible.
Why is that? Let me interrupt you. Why do you want to do that?
Because I'm the brand, I'm the product, so I'm going to have the most impact. That's the way I've been doing it. Now, because I want to achieve more, and more of it now needs to be online. So what I have is I've put together a 20-minute video where I show my business, and I have it up on YouTube, and I send that to somebody. And then if they're curious, so if I would have a look at this, and if you're curious for more information, we can follow on with a Skype conversation.
Great. Okay. So what Sina is good. This is really important, that you're not going to meet everyone face to face before they've shown an interest. I would say at your level, you do not have the time for a one-on-one meeting anymore. I would say you're either doing group meetings, which is, for example, home meetings, or perhaps small office meetings, wherever it could be in a class or wherever it is. And I would say you no longer have time for a one-on-one meeting. And when you set that up in your head, two things will happen. Number one, your head will go, well, how do I create a group meeting, right? How many prospects can I get together? Let's say that I do a group meeting every day, which will take me, let's say, between the presentation and driving, and so 2 hours. And I was to have 3 prospects for myself. And of course, my team's going to join in, and they're going to start bringing things. So is your team quite local right now, Sinet? Is it possible for them to participate in a local meeting?
Yes. A lot of my team that are very local at the moment really, at this point, are retailers. They're not business builders.
Right.
The potential business, well, there's 1 or 2. I've recruited 3 people, and we'll see what's happened with them. I have one lady who is in Galway, which is about an hour away, so she's good potential business builder. So that's why I'm going there. I'm doing just that with her tonight, which is ironic.
And your leaders are further away.
Yeah, they're further away, so they're the other side of the country.
Okay,
and they're on doing their own thing. So I'm focusing on my own personal, because the leaders that I have, they're there a while. They don't need me. They're great. They're all doing their own thing.
Their own thing. Okay, so here's my real suggestion: is because you're growing the business locally, you've told me that you need 3 new legs. Is this right, to go to the top rank, and then that will enable you to open up a whole other income? So I do believe that local is the fastest, but I do believe you should not be meeting people one-on-one anymore. So the video that you have is crucial. And so, yes, you call them, once you've created a relationship, you invite them to watch the video. Then the third step is a phone call or a Skype call, right? Where you will follow up and answer questions. And hopefully you will try to close on that phone call. Now, it would be even more useful. Do you have an upline that could do a 3-way call with you?
I could call on my upline. I could.
Right. So it may sometimes they're not doing exactly what you're doing. I'm just saying sometimes it doesn't align, sometimes it does. For those of you watching, it is always more powerful to have a third person, because in that way, the person coming on understands that you've been doing the 3-way calls for them, so they're going to sign up because they know this is easy. So the biggest mistake we make, and this is Miguel and I did all over, we did 10 one-on-one presentations live, face-to-face, every single day, and we had no one who would validate the meeting. And so people said, we don't want to do what you're doing. You're doing 10 presentations a day. We don't want to be running around for what? For just a few $1,000s? That's not it. So it's really important to start doing your business as though you are already at 30,000 euros per month, and implementing the systems, strategies, and leverage that are going to enable you to actually get there. And one of the things that's really important is that, you show people that this is a simple business. And let's face it, in 2016, there's not many people who want to do one-on-one face-to-face presentations, especially, I'm going to be 40 this year. I think people younger than us, there's going to be very few who are going to be wanting to do face-to-face a lot of the time. So I think the pre-screening process for you is key. So I would invest your time into creating more relationships. So you could do that with our Facebook social media strategy. There's plenty of social media strategies, how to meet people, take it offline, create relationships, and hopefully they're either in a local area or in a city where you're going to be going once a week so you can do a meeting there. Now, the second thing is I would invest more time into going out to places where I can meet high quality professionals. So for example, this could be real estate investment seminars, personal development places, a chamber of commerce meeting, you name it, small business association, and so on. And you would take the time that you're using to meet 5 people one-on-one, which is 5 hours, join that into one meeting and do a group presentation, which will do 2 things. It will shorten the time, but it will also, the people that get to that meeting, they will see that they're not the only ones looking at this. So there's going to be a frenzy. There's going to be, who is signing up first? Because if you sign up first, I'm going to, help you and so on. So there's a lot of benefits to actually having a group presentation, including the validation. So that, the first part is the pre-screening is great. Then, as you try to sign them up on the phone, it doesn't always happen. We believe that if you've gone through that 3-step process and then invited them to a home meeting or a presentation live, almost 80% of people will sign up then. But they've seen a video, they've get the questions answered, and then they're coming for the right reasons. See, for example, I know you're going to help a team member today to do a meeting, right? Right.
Yeah.
So what I would be doing is making sure that people that she has invited have already seen the video that you have made and that you or her have been on the phone talking to them, answering their questions. So you're investing time, stay in your pajamas longer, do more phone work, more yards on the phone to pre-screen people. So once you get to the meeting, people are there because they really just want to check you out. They've seen it, they like it, they've had their questions and objections answered. And then 5 prospects or 10 prospects, whatever it is, 10 prospects, 8 people will sign up in some way.
Okay.
So I think that's just in terms of being effective, and then stop yourself from running to meet them, because I know for a fact you're a great salesperson, meaning you go and 8 out of 10 people will sign up because of your belief, your professionalism, and the fact that you've had success. But think about this, the person that's signing up with you has nothing like that to offer. So they're going to be stalled, or you're now facing also to do one-on-one meetings for them. So it's very important that you're only doing things that are going to be duplicatable from tomorrow onwards in your team. Does it make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Which is the thing that I wanted to mention for a while already.
I go on a rant and I don't let Miguel speak.
I don't speak much, but the one thing I wanted to mention when you were saying about the business is always think about the time that you're spending doing an activity. And then the next question always is, and I was trying to write it before, it's a bit late for us, is this scalable? How is this something that can be bigger and improved by someone else today doing exactly the same thing? Not somebody today that needs to learn for 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years to be at the level that I am today. Make sense? Because if it's not scalable, you're going to find yourself spending more time and more time and more time doing exactly the same thing, and then is when you burnt out. Right?
Okay.
So when you are in front of somebody, first of all, and if maybe it's not for you, but do you approach people on the business side or on the product side?
Always the business.
Always
Great.
the business. That's
Keep
great.
going.
Now, when you're approaching somebody from the business side, the thing is does this person see me as a very, very high level speaker and business person, or do they see me, if you're doing the one-on-one, I'm saying now, do they see me as an average person that is very determined and willing to do whatever it takes to be where I am, and that way I inspire somebody to do that, and I'm not saying you need to prospect down. We always say, you need to prospect up, you need to find quality people, business people. But within that, and this is the thing that it comes down to, especially your expertise, right? You understand people when they speak, how they speak, so you can read between the lines faster than probably somebody like myself, or somebody, that has not had that type of training and background, right? So when you do that, you always need to find yourself, you are, yes, in a position of power, but not too much power. Make sense? Like if I was for example, if I was to meet Masha today, and I sit down on a coffee place, and she's presenting the opportunity to me, and she's talking about, she studied in Oxford University, she has, she speaks 6 languages and this and that. I don't. So it's going to be harder for me to relate. And then if she speaks big words, right? I will say, well, she can do this, but I don't know if I can, right?
Yeah.
So
sense?
For example, let's say a prospect asks you, even on the phone, what are the details of the compensation plan? Quite often it's very important to answer it in a way, not that you want to avoid the details, because compensation plans are great, they pay, right? But to make it sound in a way where they understand enough to be able to make the next step and the decision. It's not about hiding information. I know you could rattle off the whole compensation plan at midnight, but it's really about showing them that tomorrow, there's going to be somebody supporting them, it's going to be okay, and so on. So, the duplicability and the scalability for you will be really crucial right now.
And that's what Masha was saying, that if you have a kind of a system that you use, you can plug people in tomorrow that has never been in the industry, that has nothing to do with your background, nothing to do with, they're just, the only thing they have in common is the willingness to learn. They are humble and they are hungry, right? They are humble and they are hungry. If you're humble and you're hungry, you can do this business, as long as you have both. Yeah. When you're missing one of them, that, chances are that you will get stagnated in your business most of the time.
So now okay, how do you feel about sourcing more people? Do you feel like you have enough people to talk? Because most of us, that's where, a lot of us struggle in that. How do you feel about that?
Oh, definitely struggling it. I'm involved in a business networking group. And so that's actually a lot of people. I've worked in relationships with them, and a lot of the people that I've invited to the presentation tonight are from that networking group. So it's the first time they're actually going to see it, those that said they would come. So that's one network I use. After that, it's really hit and miss. There's no real, and I have your Facebook process, but again, I haven't sat down. I've been dabbling. Again, back to the inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into some of the mindset stuff, but I highly recommend, face-to-face is great, and you're very good face-to-face. This is your strength, which is probably why you gravitate to it. But I do believe that investing into a skill of either learning LinkedIn or Facebook prospecting will actually give you a consistent inflow of contacts. So what we suggest you do is, at the end of the day where you cannot call people, in Australia, most people are asleep after 9 because they're early risers. So after about 9 o'clock, you can't really make prospecting calls. So what we tell people always is, invest that time to go into social media. And I think the best two are LinkedIn and Facebook, and start creating new relationships and continuing to further some of the ones you've just met. And, we suggest that you should at least be trying to talk to at least 20 new contacts every day. That doesn't mean you're gonna, create 20 new friends. Some of them will, some of them won't. Some of them won't accept you. Some of them are not active on Facebook, whatever it is. But out of those, if you follow it through every night for about half an hour, you will very soon every day have at least 3 people that you've created enough relationship to continuously approach them. So sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's 2 weeks before you can actually do that. It's really about creating enough confidence and trust with the person so they know that you're not after them, but it's really knowing what is their challenges and what they want to change in their life and what are their dreams, and focusing on that FORM acronym, the good old FORM. So I think, that is why online is so good. I think if you invest some time every night, and at your level, I would probably invest, at least an hour every night, 5 days a week or something like that for the next 3 months. And you're going to get so good at it that you're going to feel so confident you will know that you have contacts on demand, right? And after a while, it only takes 20 minutes or 15 minutes because you're flowing in it, because you know what you're doing. It's just sending a few messages and managing some things, and you have to be disciplined to really do it at night when you cannot do income producing activities or your family refresh and downtime, right? So do it at a time where, we can't really do much apart from read a book or watch TV, and none of the networkers watch TV. So, I feel that's always been very productive for us. Does that make sense? So I do feel that you will benefit from an influx of contacts, but I feel that the rest of your process is really good. Now, what happens once I've started your business? What is the first thing you will tell me to do?
Okay, so we have our first planning meeting. And in our first thing I ask someone before I meet them is to think about how much they want to earn and the time they're going to give the business. And then when we're sitting down, we have a process that we follow within the company, and we'll explain some of the fundamentals, and then we'll start them on their who do they know list. And I get them listing out 5 people, excuse me, that they would like to bring to the business. We also have a product launch, so we get them working on we book in the product launch, we get that up and running. But since I started following your Q Momentum, what I started doing was, as soon as I sit down with them, is immediately contacting 3 people to get them to have a look at the business. I haven't done the 20 people within the 24 hours, but I have done the 3.
That's really good. So the planning meeting is when they first sign up, or another time?
Usually what I do is we wait when they sign up. No, it's after when their kit arrives, when their box arrives. I usually know when it's coming, so I'll have it booked in before they leave me. So they have already, right. So they know that they're going to be meeting me, and they come with those couple of pieces of information.
Right. What is it in the kit that they need to have before they speak to their family and friends and close contacts?
What's in the kit really is just product. They don't need that to speak to people, I suppose. Not really.
Yeah. One of the biggest realizations for me, and we used to do exactly what you're saying, is number one, we stopped meeting people face to face for that meeting. It was always Skype or video conference, just like what we're doing. Because you know what, when you're in your pajama and you have a half an hour meeting, then you can have a half an hour meeting and you're not moving from your house, and you can do a lot more of them. And number two, you're probably missing out a whole week of their life, and I bet some of those people's enthusiasm in that week has totally transformed. So I do believe the time to call 3 people is the time they've put the credit card down. So the day that I join and I give you, you and I are on the computer, on the laptop, or the thing, or I'm in my house, you're in your house, and I'm putting in my details, say, great, Masha, congratulations. I'm not going to let you go just yet, because right now we're going to plan your product launch. Guess what? Okay. I'll bring some product samples to it. I will help you. I'll bring some samples for display, right? And you and I need to get started with that, because guess what? By the time your product arrives, you could already have paid for it. It's free. Yeah. How would you like to do that? So I think that getting people in motion is actually the difference between engaging them properly and sometimes going for a long time before they see the business. That's been one of our biggest breakthroughs. In fact, we emphasize it so much, exact steps in 24 hours, in 30 minutes, in 7 days, and all of those things. And I think I see that you have everything in place. I would just do it sooner and stop doing it face to face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Miguel, anything? Sorry.
I just wanted to add something on top of that. And when you're having that presentation, and I'm talking about you finish the whole presentation, and obviously you have your own structure, how you present the opportunity, and how you finish that opportunity with the kind of scarcity and call to action. And this is the thing. Then there is a little bit of mingling around, right? And following up a little bit with the guests. This is the thing that worked so well for Masha and I to get that momentum that we always talk about. Within 9 months doing these home presentations, we went from pretty much 0 to 9K a week, right? And it was the same. The prospect comes to the event, right? The new person, not sign up, the guests, right? They come, they see the presentation, and they like it. When you do the follow-up, or whoever is doing the follow-up, they ask the right questions, right? And they are excited about it, but the challenge is that they need to put their money down, right? and they're really, really not going to put the money down right now. But this is the thing that we started doing. When we realized that if this person leaves tonight, if they're not putting the money down, there is a very slow chance that they will. But do you know how you increase that? They are excited now, they see the opportunity, and they see something in their future if they have their money. So what I would do is I would tell them, look, tomorrow or in 2 days or in 3 days, we're going to have another one of these. So while you're putting your money together, why don't you bring a couple of friends to the next one? So guess what I'm doing now? I'm already doubling the numbers for the next event. Not just that. When these two guys come to the next event, I'm saying 2, but I'm saying 5, I'm saying any number. They come, he comes because their friends are coming. And I will make sure that he comes and their friends are coming, obviously. But when they come, the chances are that one of them, well, if it's 2, 3, or 4, one of them will be excited also, right? When this person is excited, what do you think this person is going to do? They're going to sign up straight away. Guess what I'm going to do with this new person that comes in, that is thinking about it again and having probably the same situation. I'm going to tell them again, look, this is what happened to him, and you can do the same. We have another one. Oh, sorry. Upside down like Australia, right? You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So you're creating so much momentum in such a urgency in such a short period of time that you, by the end of the month, if you really have a structure of events that you're doing, you can have, I don't know, you can triple the numbers in your team. Make sense?
The real key is, let's just go a step back. The real key is committing to some local meetings. Now, I don't understand the geography very well where you're at, but I believe, a house meeting is always great. I mean, we started in our home and you can do that, but you could also, just in a small venue, start your weekly presentation where you are in your town. Now, that means you need to be running it at least once a week at the same place at the same time, and that is going to put indirect pressure on you that you're going to learn online prospecting, because you need prospects fast, right? We need at least 5 or 7 or so every week to turn up to the meeting. And you know what? At the beginning, there will be some meetings without prospects. We all know they confirm, they don't come. But the fact that you have committed to yourself to run this meeting no matter what will mean that very soon, because you're persistently and consistently doing that, see, that inconsistency, you can trick your mind with several things, especially when you're paying a small venue fee. Even if it's 20 euros, a small venue fee every week, it really tricks us. It's like, I don't want to be wasting my money. I need to work better on my prospects. My event is coming. And what Miguel and I did, and I'm not saying you need to do that, but this is how we like to run the business. We did, 5 to 7 home-based business presentations a week. And it was because we want, Miguel was actually working at that time when we started our current company. I was full-time. And all I had to do, we were doing them in the evening. You could do that at lunchtime. There's plenty of people who would come for an hour from work, or perhaps people who are not working full-time. And what we did is basically very soon we did 1 a week, 2 a week, and then we had 3, 4, 5 a week. And when people are coming to the presentation, they're gone now, they said, oh, but I can't come next week. Don't worry, which day do you want to come? We have one every day. Which day does your prospect want to come? So we very quickly built momentum towards it. So if at all there is enough of a metropolitan or a local area that how many people within 1 hour of drive from you?
Within 1 hour of drive, actually, yeah, because I'm so glad you brought it, because I'm thinking my town is so small.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be definitely more caption within an hour.
Maybe 500,000 people? Or?
Would there be that many? Well, I mean, Ireland's a country of 4 million, so, maybe more like a few 100,000.
Few 100,000?
I'm moving in the west, so it's the less populated.
Right, but a few 100,000 still, if you have another 1,000 people in your organization, probably that's going to be really useful, right? So I know your compensation plan. I know with 500 people, it's going to be huge turnover. I know that it's going to really help. So you just need to focus on the right people and build that consistency. I would start with 1 meeting a week for you. yes, you're going to help with product launches and people who are signing up and all of that. But I say one for me. And, yes, your team can participate and bring their prospects, and that's in addition to other things. But primarily, it's to trick your mind into some kind of consistency. And sometimes it'll be like, oh my God, it's 2 days to go. I haven't talked to anyone. Because yes, time get away. But with some of the strategies of not meeting people face to face, and meeting them in this meeting is going to be easier. And I would suggest rather you doing 2 of these events a week than ever going out to a coffee shop again.
Okay. Okay.
We've done our share of coffee shop meetings, and I would say I would do one if I were you. If this is either an experienced leader that is looking for a new company, because you do have the experience to guide and lead somebody who's perhaps been disenchanted in the past, but now is looking to get back into network marketing. Or if this is a high-level professional that is very excited about the opportunity and has a huge circle of influence. So only these 2 people I would still go and meet one-on-one, face-to-face in a coffee shop, but I would not meet any normal prospect. In fact, when you start using the language on the phone and saying, great, this is what I want you to do, I'm very busy, I'm helping, 5 more people this year to achieve 5,000 euros in income. This is what I need you to do first. Go and watch this 20 minutes video. Then I'm going to answer all your questions. And so on. When you speak that out, people will understand you belong up here. And so they're going to want to earn your time rather than you being too available and driving around, the Western Island and, meeting people one-on-one because you really desperately want contacts and people to sign up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll make a big difference.
So then now let's transition into a little bit of the internal stuff, because I think it all comes down to now is really about you, coming to a place of really, slowly, this is not an overnight process, but slowly really believing that 30,000 euros a month is you. This is the new you, you're at that level, and you need to really, the way we feel that has helped us to really own it and to really act out of that level is to really make decisions on a daily basis the way we would make them if that money was coming in every month. So, right now, in your personal life, in your business life, in your emotional life, in your health and fitness, in your, all these kind of situations. Let's not say in the spending, because I'm sure that will change a little bit, not too much, hopefully. But, in all of this, ask yourself, would I be making the same decision if I was already at this level?
Yeah.
Remember Buckminster Fuller, he always said, be, do, have. It's not have, be, do, or have, do, be, or whichever way around. So you need to really be that person in terms of the decisions and behaviors on a daily basis. Now, so effectiveness is really important, but I think there's something else. It's the belief level that, when you see the money in the bank, like when Miguel and I transfer our commission each and every single week, there is a certain belief level because we see it, right? But 5 years ago, our commission was not that. It was, 10 times less. But what was really, really very important is we just really made every single decision as though we were doing it today. No compromises, no desperate, no convincing, convincing people, no prospecting down because, or helping someone who doesn't deserve it. Like, for example, does this happen to you, for example? You really want someone to succeed and this is just kind of the only person doing anything, but they will never amount to anything because they don't have the work ethics or the attitude. Have you got people like that in your team or?
Yes, and I babysit.
Yeah, we all do that. We're all here. And it's primarily because we really want more for people than they want for themselves. So making a really clear line and really demanding more from your team as a leader would, because you're going to be at the 30,000 euros per month, you will be so busy if you want to, but still you need to create a business that you can live around. So unless you're willing to make those changes now, like we said, you're going to burn out. So, you'll be still speaking to just 5 or 10 people in your team, no more than that. And the rest need to earn your time. They say, sorry, look, I've been very busy. Unless you're able to make some changes, I will not be able to do a meeting every week for you because there's all these new teams that I'm continuously presenting. Got 20 people at meetings. I mean, these things need to be said and It's not, and some people do get upset and they think you're pushing them, but it's simply drawing a line. And here's how I explain it to myself and how I can live with that. Unless I help myself first, nobody's actually going to get ahead. So I need to put the time and the energy with people that are going to actually produce the most, because that is going to allow me to impact more people. I'm actually doing a disservice to the world, to living a legacy, if I'm spending time with the wrong people, because they will never reach thousands or more people, right?
Yeah.
So if your goal is really to impact people, you need to be really, very certain that you're going to be choosing the people very correctly. It's much more profitable you go and prospect 20 more people than do another meeting where only one prospect comes up because somebody promised you they'll do it and they didn't. Does it ring true a little bit?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. No, it does. It makes sense.
Yeah. And
so if I'm bringing in a new person, am I then setting up home meetings for them and the people that they want to bring, or am I bringing them into my meetings?
The best way is, depending how often your meetings are. Like if you're just going to do it once a week right now, and you've just had one yesterday and you've signed up somebody today, then it's 6 days away. I would say do a home meeting for that person in the next 3 to 4 days.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're going to have, 3 meetings a week in your local area, I think you've covered. 3 times a week pretty much covers, because it's 1 or 2 days away. So somebody starts saying, look, your goal is at this meeting, bring 20 people or whatever it is. Let's call a few. Let me help you, and they can go there. I do believe going into someone's home with their family and friends is magic. Do you guys do that? Do you do home?
I've actually started doing that. We were using a hotel. It was a company-sponsored meeting, but I've actually brought it back into the house as of the last 3 weeks. And I just had this very strong sense of need to keep this simple. So I brought it back into the house. So and we had the meeting last night.
That's great. I do believe, especially when somebody first starts, organizing it in their home, it's a good launch. And then guess what? After that, they can just incorporate into the 3-4 meetings that you're doing. Maybe because of geography being spread out, maybe you do, 3 meetings in slightly different places, but minimum has to be cycled once a week. There needs to be a consistency. It's like an infrastructure. The way I understand meetings and events and all this is, if I don't have it once a week, it doesn't exist. People, it's out of their mind. It needs to be same place, same time, at least once a week. And then it's repetitive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. So,
good.
Miguel, any other things?
I
have a final
as
strategy.
you can tell, I'm very different to Masha, and sometimes how I approach things, and it might not help you, but it may help someone else. So if it does help you, even better. One of the things that Masha and I have done, and sometimes we still do, is when we get to a level where we feel we are stagnated, one of the things that happens is, most of the time, is because we get very comfy where we are. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons we get comfy where we are is because we know the money keeps coming in, right? And we get, a certain lifestyle. And that hunger is not as much, or is not enough to keep you moving and taking the action. So one of the things that we have done, and I probably, I don't say you need to do that. I would say probably it may work for you, is 4,000 euros, right?
6,000.
Or 6,000, sorry. 6,000 euros.
Mm-hmm.
Open an account. Okay? Tomorrow you go to the bank, you open an account, and every time you get these 1,000 euros, let's say now in February, you put them straight away into that account that you cannot touch. You don't have a credit card, you don't have a debit card, you cannot touch. You don't have this money next month. What are you going to do to create that money?
Okay.
Make sense?
That
may put you, and the thing is, it's a double-edged sword, I say, because if you're a person that can handle that pressure, and you can still have that posture, that you're able to make it happen and to make those 6,000 euros, regardless whether you have them in the bank or not, creating new business, that's great. The other side is, if it puts you in a pressure situation where you kind of freeze out, then maybe it's just a matter of, maybe you don't do the 6,000, you do three.
80%
But
maybe,
how
something
much
like-
pressure you can handle. But that sometimes put that fire sometimes, under someone's rear end, and you get up the seat and you move. Sometimes we say, if the chair is just warm, you just you relax and it's very comfortable. When it gets warmer, you still move a little bit, but you don't get up, you don't stand up. When it's burning and it's fire and it's there and the chair is burning, you get up and do something about it, right? So
Yes.
that's and it's not, I'm not saying just about the money. I'm saying in your mind, what I was saying at the beginning before we started recording is, how do you trick yourself? You need to find a way to trick yourself into getting the things done. And I think that is something that as an entrepreneur we all need to understand. When we understand how we work and how our thinking process goes, most of the time what we do is we tend to punish ourselves, because that's what our parents used to do. When we did something wrong, they punished, and this is what we do. We don't have our parents, but it's like we had them right next to us.
Yeah.
And we punish ourselves. Instead of doing that, we say, okay, well, this is not right. Okay, I need to create more business. So how can I go and get it? Okay, what is the thing that hurts me the most? Okay, maybe it's not having the money. That will put pressure on myself, and it will get me to do the things. Okay, well then, what do I do with this money without wasting it? And because this is the other thing that we've seen in the industry, obviously, the patterns are still there. And what some people do is they earn $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month, but the pattern's still there, and they burn that money, right? I'm not saying you burn the money, just put it somewhere else that is safe, right? And maybe that gets you to do the things. Make sense?
Yeah, it's a way of saving a lot of money. Whatever you don't use for your expenses, put it in an account and don't touch it for as long as possible, and then buy something big, a new house or whatever you guys are planning on doing in your life. But it's really very important. I think another thing, so, yes, finding a way to really focus on that next level and really being that person. Do you like doing any kind of traditional personal development things, such as listening, reading, visualizing? What do you like doing? Journaling? What do you do?
Oh, I do it all. I read, I visualize. I've just started Kundalini yoga. I've just, I train. I'd be quite fit. I do a lot of resistance training, so I do take care of myself that way. My diet can be a little up and down, but otherwise we get there. But yeah, no. So I do a lot of that work. I really believe in it strongly, and I just have to get up early in the morning to get it in. So
which one of them helps you the most? Affirmations, journaling. Which one is the one that you would say, if you had to pick one thing that you can focus on?
Visualizing.
Yeah, so, think about perhaps really having a song or a little visualization exercise. Since you're a psychologist, you may even do that yourself. A little 2-3 minutes thing that you can actually listen to several times a day that triggers the picture in your mind. You're waking up and you're living the 30,000 euro day. You're waking up, and what is around you, not who, but, exactly who you're spending time with in terms of now your leaders, who they are, who they've become, who you've been able to recruit and build and so on. And of course, personal life and personal goals, but you need to go through that quick 2 minutes, being connected to it the whole time. You need to really be living it. And that's a process of being good enough. That is really it. It's really reaffirming that we are already at that place with all 5 senses and completely immersing yourself continuously into it. And I think, so let's summarize it into a quick, 2-minute thing at the end. I think it's really important for you to find a way to do more of what you're doing, because you've obviously created success. You've done, I want to say 99.99% of things absolutely right, spot on. But I think that you can improve on is to do more of it and finding a way for yourself to really be consistent. So how do we do that? I think one of the main things that's going to help you is to be able to have an unlimited source of contacts, and that could be one of your affirmations. Prospects come to me easily. I have an unlimited list of contacts. I can never get through people. I believe stopping one-on-one meetings and starting group meetings, consistency, increasing those meetings and building for them and feeling the pressure that you need to bear it by filling it up with prospects for yourself. On your compensation plan, it's really important that you are strong in the, new people that you're bringing in. Very important, for those people who don't know, but this is the strong part that I think you do very well, and that I think will benefit in terms of your commission as well. So I think that I would do. I think it's great you have that 20-minute video. Make sure you and your team are using it.
Yes.
Never let somebody wait for a week to get their products before you get them started. Always on the day, get them going into the business. Let's call 3 or 5 people. I have a meeting tomorrow in this area, and guess what? By tomorrow night, you could already have your investment back.
Yeah.
Get them into momentum. What Miguel was saying, indirect pressure from new contacts, and really building from one meeting to the next, one meeting to the next. And the last thing is, do you do like a monthly event?
We have a company event that runs every month, with the exception of 2 months in the year.
Great. So
That's in Dublin.
So, you obviously you understand the monthly event really well in terms of what happens after the monthly event, the 7 days post-event. Whoever is there from your team needs to buy at least 3 tickets, 1 for themselves and 2 for the people that they're going to recruit in the next 30 days. This is the key. And next month you can have at least triple the number of people, if not more, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you can, this is building a culture. Like for leaders like yourself, building a culture of committing. If you commit, say, look, I have bought 5 tickets. I'm coming, and I've committed to sponsor 4 people this month. Now, I believe the only way to grow your business, especially in this company with this compensation plan, is for you to have 2 new recruits at this next meeting. So, how many people from your team would typically attend that monthly event?
Well, you see, within the team as a whole, it's probably averages in around between 20 to say 40. With my direct business, though, at the moment it's quite poor. I was talking with them only last night, and the majority of them aren't going. So it's gone right down to maybe 5.
That's all right. 5 good ones. You know how many people you need to create a 10,000 people team?
Yeah.
Just
One.
CNET.
Okay.
So it's okay that you do not need massive numbers of people, but I think the culture of them at the event, especially pre-event or just after having that leadership meeting, those 40 people coming together, you need to have them separate from the main event because it's a company event, and instill that culture of committing to buy the ticket right there because they're excited. At the event, everyone's great, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go home and talk to people. Great. If you're going to talk to people, let me show you a way how you can trick your mind in actually having 2 more people next month. Would you like to grow your business triple next month? Yes, I would. Great. The only way to do it is for you to purchase 3 tickets, 1 for yourself and 2 for the people that are not in your team, not the ones who didn't come today. Let's invite those as well. But let us go and recruit 2 people for you this month. I will help you. I'm your upline. I will make sure that you get Imagine, when is the event this month? Next month? It's
on the 19th of March. Next, we've had the one in February, so the next one's in March.
So maybe you can now go back to your team, some of the main leaders, and start sharing that idea and saying, look, the only way we will get ahead and triple our income this year is for us to go recruit. So this is what I'm doing. I mean, if you don't want to, that's okay, but this is what I'm doing. I'm buying 5 tickets to the March event. And, get people to commit to 3 at least. And if 20 out of 40 commit to 3, you've got 60 there instead of 40.
Yeah.
And then you're, over 3-4 months, you're reinforcing that culture. And you will see you'll be at 100 people in 90 days. That's your goal. Your goal is to be at 100 people at the monthly event in 90 days by building from small meetings in your local area, because that's your personal team, and instilling that culture with the other leaders who are on the East Coast. By implementing some of the things like that. So that's kind of my take, Miguel. I don't know if you have any last words.
You pretty much said everything. The only thing I say is always consume the information. You have Q Momentum program from us, and some of the things that Masha just mentioned are in that program. So one of the things that we've seen, and it's the same with us, okay? When you don't consume the information, it's like throwing money to the bin or just putting money, somewhere that you're not going to be really...
It's more leaving it on the table. You've consumed it, but you can consume more.
It's like getting a pair of shoes and leaving them in the cupboard. You're not going to use them. So you may as well not buy them. So with that, I would say try to find the time to, slowly, you don't need to learn it by heart, but I think if if you get the mechanics of what Masha was just saying to you, it's in that program, and you will see how when you have the clear structure. I think that's another thing that sometimes happens. We have all these ideas that we need to sponsor so many people, that we need to work so hard, that we need to, and it's not that hard. It doesn't need to be. You have the knowledge, you have the experience, you have the results. When you go and talk to someone, when you go and like new people, and you tell them who you are, what you've done, and that you want to do it bigger and faster, like what's his name, Holton Bax used to say when he started with his new company. I just want to do it bigger, better, and faster. I would say the same. This is who I am. This is what I've done. And this year, I want to do bigger, better, and faster. And are you one of them? You want to come with me? I'm going to help you to do what I did. And when you do those things,
and really own it. Like, I know these are some things that networkers say over and over, and they seem a little bit, they seem a little scripted, but really own it. Whatever your words are,
Exactly.
So, I mean, if I were you, like, these are just my words, and they're no better than yours, and anyone who's watching this will find theirs. We'll say, you know what? How many percent of people in Ireland today are earning 6,000 euros per month? How would you like to make sure that you have a residual income of 6,000 euros 5 years from today? How many people will not put up their hand? I mean, we all know this is way quadruple the average, of any income in any European country. So it's very, very important. I think, you actually show the results, be proud of what you've already achieved, and, be really strong. I know that you are, but this is just for everyone as well. So I'm saying a few more things. Really strong about network marketing, and be really, good representation and educator. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help this many families in Ireland over the next 5 years. I'm going to help 10,000 families in Ireland to make sure they're out of debt, that they have a residual income, and they're free, whatever your mission is. And how many people are making 6,000 euros? Show me. Very, very, very few. Even, in fact, some doctors and lawyers and so on are making far, far, far less.
Okay.
That is going to require a lot of work. I always go back to that, because one of the stigmas of the industry is like, we sometimes are very enthusiastic about what we say, and we tend to forget to tell them the downsides of what it is, what it takes to get it. But I think when somebody's excited, it's the best time you will ever have to tell them. It's going to be the worst and the hardest, and that is you will ever do. But if you do it, and when you do it, this is what's on the other side. Is it worth? Definitely it is. I can tell you that right now. So are you willing to go through that? And that is the time that they can never say you did not tell them, because it's not all about roses and it's all gonna be fine. No, you tell them the truth, and the truth is the results are there, and it will be there, but they need to do the work. And then it's the first time that you're gonna see whether they are also teachable, they are hungry, they are humble, and they're really willing to learn what it takes. I think that's one of the things. Anyway,
that's really good. So just to wrap everything up, I want to hear from you what you feel were some of the biggest takeaways from you, and I think that's just going to help you to really cement it, and then move forward from there.
Okay. Well, there was a huge amount of stuff and all that. Thank you so much. Okay. So first and foremost, the big thing is around how I use my time. I need to start being smarter with it. So stop the one-to-ones and bring it into the house and into meetings, and then to duplicate that. Do more and tricking myself into being more consistent. So by having these meetings in place, I have to get out there, build relationships, and have people to invite into the room. With the new people I'm bringing into the business, is to start with them immediately and not to wait until the box arrives, but to actually get moving with them immediately so that I can help them get earnings straight away. I like the idea of building a culture of committing people to buy their tickets for the next success day. I think as they're the kind of the key parts. After that, then yes, so using Facebook, LinkedIn to build the relationships more with people, and actually start to do that in a space of time, and after the 9 o'clock kind of in the day. So putting that into my day and actually structuring it into my day. And then I can hear myself saying this tonight at the meeting, which is I'm going to be, building this, what I'm doing bigger, better, and faster. And I'm looking for people that I want to help create a €6,000 residual income within the next 5 years. And are you one of them?
Perfect.
That's
Excellent.
awesome.
Well,
That is absolutely awesome. That is really good. We have a small surprise for you because I feel that one of the programs that we have is going to make a difference to you. I think this is going to make the biggest difference to you. It's called the Ultimate Pajama Party. It's all about how to build a six-figure income in 12 months, systemizing home meetings or small group meetings. So we're gonna thank you for giving you that program, and we'll give you access to that. So hopefully that
Thank you
helps
very
you
much. I really, really, really appreciate that because I'll use it. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. So thank you so much, Jeanette. It was really great pleasure, and I hope everyone watching has learned some lessons. And we can't wait for the next hot seat.